Hello everyone, how are we doing today? You are welcome to a brand new episode of Grand Football TV with yours truly, Mr. Chigs. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And we've got loads packed for you. The players that they're calling up for the World Cup. There are some disappointments here and there. There are some players that are injured that cannot actually make the World Cup. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these teams do in the World Cup. Don't forget, England just made their own announcement of who they've called up to the World Cup. And we'll just go through that list quickly, who they have called up to the World Cup. We'll start with the goalkeepers. And we have Jordan Pickford, Nick Pope, and Aaron Ramsdale. All three goalkeepers have been called up. And I'm looking at that list. It looks decent. You know, the keepers who are in form, who are English, they have been called up. In the Premier League, Nick Pope and Aaron Ramsdale, and obviously the Brazilian Ederson, are the top three goalkeepers in the Premier League at the moment with the amount of clean sheets they've kept. So it only makes sense that them two, as well as the old horse in Jordan Pickford, are the goalkeepers that have been called up. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But for the first game, I was having a chat with some of my mates before, and I said, I still see Pickford, starting the first game in the World Cup. I don't know what you think. You can leave your comments in the comment section. Do you think Pickford should start, or do you think Pope should start, or do you think Ramsdale should start? I'm an Arsenal fan, but I've been pleased with Ramsdale this season, but I still think that Pope and Pickford are just slightly ahead of him. So I'm going with Pope. I think Pope should start, but I think Gareth Southgate might go with, the experienced head in Jordan Pickford. And we'll go to the defenders that have been called up. We have Trent Alexander-Arnold. We have Connor Cody. We have Eric Dier. We have Harry Maguire. We have Luke Shaw. We have John Stones. We have Kieran Trippier. We have Kyle Walker. And we have Ben White. I'm so happy for Ben White that he's made that team because he has deserved his place in that team. There are a few players we'll come to that have deserved their place, and Ben White is one of them. He's played magnificently well this season. He's not a player I really, thought about as a defender as being good. But this season, last season and this season, he's, erased all my doubts about him because he's playing in the right back position for Arsenal this season, and he's benching the actual right backs of Arsenal. Tomiyasu and Cedric Soares are not getting games because of Ben White, and that shows you how good he has been. Because obviously when he started, it was because Tomiyasu was injured. But because of how well he played, even when Tomiyasu was injured, when Tomiyasu came back, couldn't get in the squad, couldn't make the team. They had to now switch Tomiyasu to a left-back position for him to actually get a game. So that just shows you how well Ben White has been playing. And well done to him for making the team. But I don't think Gareth Southgate would pick him to actually start. But you never know. Trent Alexander-Arnold, everyone's got their criticism about him, that he's more of a midfield player than a defender. He knows how to move up front, but doesn't really know how to defend. You might say what you want, but he plays well, and he will, deliver the goods for you. When it comes to a set piece or a ball into the box, he will do that job for you. So I see him doing that properly in the World Cup. Will he start? I think yes, he will. He will, because there are not many players who can do what he does. I mean, the likes of Trippier, who's in the team as well, and congratulations to him, because he's been immense. I must give him a shout out. He has been immense in the Newcastle squad this season. Yeah, it's been really, really good. So he's deserved this place in this squad. And I feel that he'll probably get a game in the World Cup, but maybe not the first one. He'll probably start off with Trent in the first game. And I'm sure that would be exactly what would happen. The likes of Conor Cody, Harry Maguire, John Stones. I'm just thinking amongst them who would make the starting lineup. I see Harry Maguire, who's the captain of the team. Fair enough, he hasn't had that many games for Man United this season, but because he's the captain of the team, I don't see anywhere else where he's going to be apart from the starting lineup. They might not start him after the first game. Don't forget they play Iran in the first game, so it should be an easy enough game to see where everyone stands. So if he doesn't play well in that game, then there's no point playing him in the rest of the games. So I see him starting that one, captaining the team, of course, and then he should be partnered with John Stones. That's my opinion. I don't know what Gareth Southgate's going to do, trust me. But if you're asking me as a fan, I would say Harry Maguire and John Stones in defense. And obviously Trent, and actually Kieran Trippier can play left back, so he can play there. But you've got Luke Shaw, so Luke Shaw can also play. But I prefer Kieran Trippier in there than Luke Shaw. But you never know what the manager's going to go with. So the midfield has got some interesting players in there as well. The likes of Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher. How did he make the team? I mean, he's been great for Chelsea, but I would have imagined Ward-Prowse would have made that team. But then again, Ward-Prowse, I don't know what you guys think. Ward-Prowse hasn't been very, very effective, especially lately in the Southampton team. That's probably one of the reasons why they haven't been scoring, because he's one of their main, go-to guys with the penalties, with the free kicks, but he hasn't been having any lately to even, deliver the goods. So maybe that's why he's just missed out on that. And the likes of Jordan Henderson. Jordan Henderson, should start, should be in the team. Mason Mount, deserves this place in the team. Calvin Phillips hasn't played that much football this season. Another surprise selection, in my opinion, because he's literally just coming back from injury. So is he going to be very fit for the competition? You never know. But he might not. He definitely probably won't start. I don't see him as a starter. He probably just come on when the going is good. Everything has been settled. They're winning comfortably, and just bring him on to give him, game time and all that. But I don't see him starting in the World Cup. Declan Rice, another good inclusion in the team. So he's going to be a one to look out for. I see him doing some great things in this World Cup, because if I'm not mistaken, this is his first World Cup. He hasn't been in it. He didn't even go, I don't think did he go to the Euros? He probably did. Correct me in the comment section if you think he did. Anyway, yes, but he's a good inclusion in the team. So he will be a one to look out for. And then obviously up front, we have the likes of Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, James Maddison, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka. Oh, actually, Raheem Sterling is in the squad. I was saying to someone earlier that he didn't make the squad, but he is actually in the squad. I'm just seeing his name now. And Callum Wilson. Yes. So these are the guys in the forward line. Actually, it would have made headlines if Raheem Sterling wasn't there. Because remember the last competition England went to, he was the main man. So him not being in this one would have, been a big news that, oh, Raheem didn't make the team. But I can see he made the team. He is actually in the squad. So amongst the front line, the likes of James Maddison, obviously their first World Cup, their first, where they're playing for their country in a major competition. So they will be delighted. He's played very well for Leicester this season. So I'm sure he'll be delighted. He'll be delighted to be in that squad. Marcus Rashford played well for Man United in batches, where it's like a yo-yo thing he's done this season, where some games he's doing really well, some games is just completely missing, But all in all, happy he's there, happy he's in the team. He can bring something to the table when when called upon. But the main person I want everyone to watch out for in this World Cup is Bukayo Saka. Yes, he will light that World Cup, set it alight with his brilliance, with his assist, with his flick it, things he would do in the competition to go past players, to create chances for his teammates. I can see him doing that in this competition, and I can see him having a good World Cup with England. Obviously, there are loads of teams that have also announced their teams. But before we go into that, the likes of Callum Wilson, congratulations to them as well for making the team. The likes of Jack Grealish, he's had an okay season, not totally great, but I'm sure he'll be happy to be in that plane to Qatar. So the likes of Germany, the likes of France, the likes of Brazil. Yes, Brazil. That's the one I want to talk about. The Brazilian team, because they named their squad earlier than most of these other teams. They called their squad about 3 or 4 days ago now. Or is it 2 days ago? They named their squad. And what a squad it is. What a squad it is. I'm just looking for their lineup now. I know I've got it somewhere. Yes. So they've got Alisson, Ederson, and Weverton in goal. So it's going to be interesting who would start for Brazil in goal, because you've got the likes of Ederson and Alisson, who are top-class goalkeepers, top class. So it'll be interesting to see who actually starts and who makes it on the bench. I know lately Tite, their manager, has been starting Alisson, but Ederson, so far this season, has had the best starts. Well, not really actually, because lately Alisson has picked up. I know one of the games recently, he saved the penalty. Another game, he created an assist in another game, And so that might just give him that little edge over Ederson in the starting lineup. But where I'm most interested in is their forward line. Woo! The forward line of Brazil. You've got the likes of Anthony, you've got Rafinha, you've got Richarlison, you've got Gabriel Martinelli, you've got Rodrigo, and you've got Pedro. These are all guys that could destroy any defense. You've got the likes of Vinicius Jr., you've got the likes of Gabriel Jesus, you've got the likes of Neymar, These are all frontline players. So it'll be interesting to see how they actually set up and who actually starts and who starts on the bench and comes on. And everyone who gets a start would obviously want to make their mark. I can guarantee you that. But Brazil, don't forget, they also took, some people have been saying online, the 50-year-old Dani Alves, the old horse, never fades away. He's not had that many games in Mexico, but there's no other right back or left back you can say is better than Dani Alves. You know, he's one of the best. He's won everything that you could think of as a player, you know. And I respect him so much because even when he came back to Barcelona last season, he didn't come for anything. He just came to help the team. And he did so well. I was surprised they didn't keep him. Obviously, maybe they thought, oh, if we keep him, we would have to pay him some huge amount of money. So, and considering all that Barcelona has been going through, they probably thought, nah, we'll skip that. We'll let him go. Let him go on a high. Let him go on a high. So, yeah, well done to Dani Alves for also making that team. The likes of Danilo as well, Alexandro, Alex Telles, Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva, you know, still in that team. Marquinhos, Eder Militao, Bremer, Casemiro, Fabinho, Bruno Guimaraes of Newcastle making the team. And Fred, our dear friend Fred, made the team as well. So well done to all these players. Lucas Paqueta, you know, is in the team as well. Ribeiro is in the team. So these guys, they're all ready to go. And obviously the likes of Gabriel Magalhães, who's an Arsenal player, didn't make the team. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, I'm sure he's on what they call like a standby if anything happens, because apparently this World Cup, you can make changes up until 24 hours before the World Cup starts. So any player, maybe within the training session that gets injured, can be taken off. You know, there are a few reasons a player can be taken off. It can be taken off for, you know, injury. It can be taken off for illness. So it all depends. So a lot of players are still on standby, hoping to make the team. So it'll be interesting to see how that one pans out, if anyone else joins them in that team. And the French team, woo, another team to look forward to in the World Cup. They announced their team as well. And they've got Lloris in goal. They've got Areola and Mandanda. Mandanda's still going. I didn't know he was still playing. But yes, they've got Mandanda, Areola, and Lloris in goal. And obviously, Lloris, I feel, will be the number one who starts most of the games unless he's injured or has a very, very bad game. Then he'll probably be replaced. Then you have the defenders. We have Konate, Pavard, Koundé, Saliba. Yes. Lucas Hernandez, Theo Hernandez, Kimpembe, Upamecano, and Varane. I thought Varane was injured, but maybe he's going to be back before the World Cup starts. So they still had to pick him. But I'm sure he will be happy, because when he had that injury on the pitch, I could see he was crying like, oh, that's my World Cup dreams shattered. But he made the team, so that would have given him some kind of morale boost, even if he's not back from the injury yet, to get himself fit for the competition. So yeah, you have the likes of Tchouameni in midfield, Vertout, Rabiot, Guendouzi, Camavinga, and Fofana in midfield. An interesting bunch there. Guendouzi, who's been playing really well since he left Arsenal. Been playing really well. I started thinking to myself, why did Arsenal? I know he's got some disciplinary issues, but that's a player I wasn't too happy he left Arsenal, but that's football for you. It's a team sport. So if he's not, gelling well with the team, not doing the things he's supposed to do, by all means, get him out. So that's what's happened. You have, in attack, you have Griezmann, you have Giroud, you have Dembele, you have Mbappe, you have Benzema, you have Nkunku, and you have Coman. That's a strong forward line there. I don't see any other forward line, maybe apart from Brazil, that can match this forward line here. Griezmann, Giroud, Dembele, Mbappe, Benzema, Nkunku, and Coman. I don't see all of them playing, that's the thing. But if I was going to go, obviously it would be Mbappe and Benzema. Benzema, you cannot bench him right now. He's the Ballon d'Or winner. He's been playing out of his skin, playing his best football, so he definitely get a starting game and be in the starting lineup. But the likes of Giroud and Griezmann will be knocking on that door. Don't forget, Giroud is one of their best players in international level. So he would be making his mark there as well. I'm sure you'll be surprised. Well, I won't be surprised if Giroud makes the starting lineup and everyone's going, how come Giroud starting over Benzema? Or how come Giroud starting over this? But yeah, he would probably deserve his place in the starting lineup. So another team I want to talk about that's also released their squad is Germany. Germany have released their squad, and they have in goal, they have Noah, Ter Stegen, and Trapp in goal, and they have these three goalkeepers, but obviously Noah's just coming back from a long-term injury, so I wonder if he would be the number one goalkeeper for the World Cup, or if they would go with Ter Stegen. Trapp is also knocking on the door. He's been playing really well for Frankfurt, so it'll be interesting to see if he actually makes that team. And you have the likes of Bella Kotchap, who will be happy because he plays for Southampton. He's made that team. You have the likes of Kera, you have Gunther, you have Süle, you have Klostermann, you have Ginter. The first one's Gunther, this one's Ginter. You have Rome, you have Rudiger, and you have Schlotterbeck. Apologies if you're a fan of any of these players and I've absolutely murdered their names. Yeah, that's the best way I think they should be called. Yeah, so in defending, they have got some good players in there, the likes of Rudiger, the likes of Süle. These are players who are well registered in the defensive role for their clubs. So they are bringing a lot to the table. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Then you have the midfielders. You have Kimmich. You have Hoffmann. You have Brandt. You have Goretzka. You have Gundogan. You have Musiala. And you have Havertz. So that is a strong midfield line. A very strong midfield line. Oh, hang on. I'm just seeing that Muller is not in this team. Well, he's quite old now, so they've probably decided on letting him, just stay back for this one because he hasn't made that team. Oh, no, he is. What am I saying? He is. He is in the forward line. That's why. I see him as more of a midfielder now, man. And he is in the forward line. Because I'm thinking, how come Muller is not in this team? But he has made the team. Yes, he is in the forward line. So you have Sane, Gnabry, Adeyemi, Muller, Füllkrug, Götze, and Moukoko. The Moukoko guy, the young guy at Everton, he's made the team. Well done to him. I'm not sure if he'll get a game, but I'm sure he'll just be pleased to be on the plane to Qatar. You never know. That's one thing about these competitions. Because of how intense they are for the short period of time, some players might just get a quick knock that might not allow them to be back before the next game. And that's why you take that many people into the competition. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one for Germany to see how they do, because they are in a very, very tight group. I just saw the likes of Japan. They released their squad as well. And Japan, they have got some interesting players in there. The likes of Mitomo, the new guy at Brighton, who's doing some. In fact, he scored the other day against Arsenal. He scored at the weekend as well when they played. Who did they play at the weekend? But anyway, he scored. Just, that he scored twice, 2 in 2. Anyway, so yeah, they have the likes of Tomiyasu as well. They have the likes of Kamada in Frankfurt. So these are players who are doing really well in their various clubs. So Japan will be no pushover in that group where they lie against Germany and Spain. Yeah, I think they're in the same group as Germany and Spain. So let's look at the Belgium team quickly. We have the likes of Courtois, Mignolet, and Casteels in goal. Obviously, Courtois, best goalkeeper in the last Champions League. In the Ballon d'Or ceremonies, he won the best goalkeeper. So you would imagine, because of his form right now, he would be the one to start for Belgium. And in defense, you have the likes of Vertonghen. I didn't know he was at Anderlecht, but yeah, he's at Anderlecht. So he will be playing at the World Cup. You have Alderweireld, who's at Antwerp. You have Dendoncker, who plays for Wolves. You have Faes, the new guy at Leicester. I didn't know he would make that team, but he's made the team. I'm sure he'll be buzzing, ready to go. And you have Tite, and you have De Bast of Anderlecht as well. In midfield, they've got some old horses in there, the likes of Carrasco. Carrasco made the team. Meunier. You have Castagne. You have Torgan Hazard. You have De Bruyne. You have Tielemans. You have Onana, Witsel, and Van Aken. All these guys, it's an interesting midfield there, especially the likes of De Bruyne, who I'm sure would want to make his mark in this competition. Some of my mates have already, said he might be the player to watch out for, the player of the whole competition, depending on how far Belgium go. So in the forward line, they've got Eden Hazard. They've got De Ketelare. Yeah, that's that guy in Milan. And they've got Trossard, who's doing really well for Brighton. They've got Mertens. They've got Doku. They've got Lukaku. They've got Batshuayi. And they've got Openda. So these guys, they're all doing well in their various clubs. That's why they've been picked for this competition. Eden Hazard, you might question a bit, but he does well for his country. He plays magnificently well for his country. And I'm sure he'll be a starter. He'll probably be the one to watch out for, because he's looking for a move now. I think rumors have it that he might be looking for a move away from Real Madrid, So this might be his opportunity. Go to the World Cup, play really well, boom. All the clubs coming for you, want to sign you before the end of the competition. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I see Belgium going really far. If they put their acts together, they probably will go very far in the competition. I can see that happening. So yeah, These are most of the teams that are, that I've mentioned their squad. The last one I'll look at quickly is Portugal. Portugal have named their squad as well. They've got Costa in goal, Jose Sa, who plays for Wolves, we know him very well, and Rui Patricio, a former Wolves goalkeeper as well, who plays for Roma now. Yes, so he will be in the World Cup. But looking at that goalkeeping line, I'm not sure who they would pick as the number one. Obviously, Rui Patricio is the old head who, very experienced in that position. But Jose Sa and Diogo Costa, they'll be knocking on that door because they've done really well for their clubs, especially the likes of Sa. He's been playing really, really well for Wolves, saved them a lot of times from, proper and utter disgrace. Yes. So in defense, we have Diogo Dalot, we have João Cancelo, Danilo Pereira, Pepe, Ruben Diaz, Antonio Silva, Nuno Mendes, and Rafael Guerreiro. Interesting defense. It's interesting to see Pepe still going, He's still going. I'm sure he's like 39 or nearly 40, but he's still going. But we'll see how that goes in the World Cup if he actually gets a game. Then we have João Palhinha. We have Ruben Neves, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, João Mario, Matheus Nunes, Otavio Vitinha, William Carvalho. These are all players that are well known. So it'll be interesting to see. The forward line has got Andre Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo, Goncalo Ramos, João Felix, Rafael Leao, and Renato Horta. Interesting forward line. Obviously, Ronaldo, this would probably be his last World Cup. So we'll see how that goes. There will be more to talk about next week. Now we'll be looking at different teams and players to actually look out for. I will probably have some guests in the studio who would be ironing this out with me. And thank you for joining us today on Grand Football TV. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful time. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section. And we will be back with you again very, very soon. Thank you, guys, and have a blessed, blessed evening. Bye for now.